Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Down goes Donald Trump. Down goes the most evil, criminal, corrupt, sadistic president in American history. A man who continually carried out illegal actions, who abused his power for personal gain, that ordered his political opponents to be arrested and assassinated. He has been indicted on charges related to insecure storage of national security related documents. They got him though. All those crimes he did, all the stuff they were saying for years, he's finally facing justice for it. Now I've said this in the past, but let's be honest. Trump's got to be the cleanest Manhattan real estate developer I've ever heard. I mean, let's look at like what they've actually accused him of over the years. We have like the supposed paying of hush money to Stormy Daniels, which they had to change the law on, and then someone went against like prosecutorial conduct to charge him, and like it didn't even make sense because the statute of limitations had passed. You had the first impeachment, which to this day I still don't understand. I think that was related to like Russia Gate or Ukraine or interference in the election, which CNN admitted, and I covered this in another video, that it was complete bullshit. There was the other impeachment trial that failed about the whole January 6th thing. There's been a bunch of other lawsuits. So like I said, like Trump must be the only clean Manhattan real estate developer. Like they don't get him on, like they couldn't find connections to the mob. They couldn't find him like engaging in corruption of unions, of bribing city officials, of like any of the kind of stuff you would expect New York real estate developers to engage in. They didn't get him on any of that. They didn't get him on abuse of power, of using the office for personal gain. He had documents in a bad place, and that's what they got him on. It's kind of like getting Al Capone on tax evasion. It's just super lame. An indictment unsealed Friday details 37 charges against the former U.S. president related to national security for improperly storing, stashing classified documents, showing them off, and then lying to authorities about them. The potential to Donald Trump extends far beyond his 2024 presidential campaign. Digesting on air what was referred to as a damning indictment, a conviction could result in Trump spending his final years in prison. The case before a Florida court accused Trump of storing secret information on U.S. nuclear programs, military vulnerabilities, and retaliation strategies of the U.S. and its allies, all kept on a property visited by tens of thousands of people, Trump's Mar-a-Lago dwelling and club, because no documents are kept in the White House or Congress or the National Archives or any other building visited by tens of thousands of people. Mar-a-Lago they had to add that in because that is directly relevant. They were stored in a bathroom, a ballroom, his bedroom, a shower, and his storage room. And we have pictures here. These aren't the pictures of the classified documents, but they can assure us that there was some classified documents there along with newspaper clipping. And I guess that's kind of illegal. And then we have all these conjecture quotes. I'm not sure if they actually have any recordings of any of them. I gotta say, Trump, baby, what are you doing? If Biden's taught us anything, if you had to put those classified documents on Discord, that would have been okay. If you put them on Discord, if you gave them to like people who died under mysterious circumstances, if you put them on your laptop, like with all that stuff, you would have gotten away with it, but you kept the paper copies. Like next time what you need to do, Trump, is you're playing some Counter-Strike, you're playing some Europa Universalis in your office at the White House. You just click, drag, drop, and send that to yourself on Discord. That you can use later on your private Discord server, and you'll be good because that's okay. And I have to say that here on this channel, we are disgusted by his behavior because no one else in world history has ever taken classified documents home. I've never done it. You've never done it. Nobody's ever done it. No other previous president did. Bush didn't do it. Obama didn't do it. Biden didn't do it. This is in no way just being used against Trump because they literally have nothing else to get him on. Um, sarcasm aside, I mean it's bullshit. Like it's complete and total bullshit. Like who gives a fuck? No one is above the law. That's nonsense. That's not how like political systems work in democracy. In democracies, particularly two-party systems, any criminal charges brought against a political opponent is considered a form of corruption or weaponizing of the justice system. That's just by and large the way it is. Generally speaking, the judiciary won't even get involved in it. If there's an election dispute, if there's corruption charges, if there's something like that, because particularly in America where the judiciary is completely partisan, you just basically there's an unwritten rule that you just can't indict people if they're from the opposite political party, because otherwise you just anybody could indict anybody. Every Republican could indict every Democrat for anything. Any Democrat could indict any Republican for anything. And I think the 2020 election really proved this, where the argument wasn't even really necessarily the basis of the evidence. It was that courts don't have the authority to rule on these kind of. And I think to a certain extent, yes, the head of state is above the law. I don't really know who is in a position to judge the head of state. I guess in a democracy, people can remove him from power, but if the president doesn't have the authority to like declassify documents, who does have the authority to declassify? It's like, and once again, this is what they got him on. It's not that he like there is credible accusations that the Clintons had people whacked. Like, let's be honest. There is multiple credible accusations that the Clintons had people whacked. I've never heard an allegation that Trump has had people whacked. You have like all kinds of people who are like pedos and stuff like that, and none of that gets pursued, and like way more important stuff gets pursued. Bush illegally invading Iraq, Obama illegally invading Yemen and Libya and Syria, McCain and the boys giving money to ISIS. None of this is going to get prosecuted. But Trump, like reading some classified documents while he was on the toilet in Florida, that is beyond the pale. And like I said, it's in a democracy. You just literally can't do this. If you decide to do this, is very obviously for political reasons. Otherwise, if you actually prosecuted politicians for every time they broke the law, then most of them would be removed from power, which is something I'm not even necessarily against. But the precedent is there that politicians can basically do whatever they want, and they don't have to face the same justice system as the rest of you. Much like rich people can do whatever they want, and they don't have to face the same justice system as everybody else. That's just kind of the way that things are, but because they don't like Trump, because Trump's this evil racist, whatever you want to call it, he does not get the privilege of being immune from basically everything. Like, if you look at all the shit that surrounds Biden, all the land deals, his son, the laptop, the bribes from China, none of that stuff is going to go anywhere. Biden could, like, receive a case full of, like, money in public from Zelensky. And that would not, like, I don't even know if he would be charged with any. Because the American justice system has taken the position, by and large, that you can't indict politicians on pretty much anything, particularly if it's politically sensitive. So let's just take a step back and let's look at this for a second. So for the last 8 years, various law enforcement agencies have been spying on Trump. I remember, like, this is one of the more bizarre ones, is the New York Times, I think it was in January of 2020, they published an article saying, yes, the FBI is spying on Trump's campaign headquarters. And then a month later, they posted a article that said, you're mentally ill if you think the FBI was spying on his campaign headquarters. They didn't even take the previous one down. And that's the New York Times. This has been the thing for years. For years now, the FBI has been trying to indict him. They've been trying to impeach him. All this other stuff has been trying to happen. And now it looks like they finally arrested him as we're coming into a presidential election when he's the most credible threat to the party in power. And like this is not third world stuff. This is not a dictatorship. This is not Biden destroying a potential political opponent using the Justice Department. This is completely legitimate. Those documents that Trump took home, that Biden has never taken a single document. Like I said, Trump is the only person in American history to have taken classified documents home. Nobody does that at work. Nobody works from home during COVID or whatever. Trump was the only person who ever would do something this evil. So they're trying to take Trump down. And once again, and I've said this in the past, and I'll give credit where credit's due, Fuentes has said this in the past, and it's a fair statement. What Trump needs to do, or any Republican needs to do if they ever get in power, is just realize the justice system in the U.S. It's complete bullshit. It doesn't function. It doesn't serve the people. It doesn't try to resolve truth. It just serves like corrupt politicians, big corporations, and rich people. By and large, that's what it does. That's not to say every judge is corrupt or every judge is bad. But one of the reasons Republicans keep losing is they're like, we're going to appoint esteemed legal scholars, people who are able to read the laws and interpret them properly and use the tradition of common law and constitutional law. It's just like, you people are retarded. Like, Democrats don't do that. They're smart. Like, what you need to do, and I'm going to be honest, you can have this one for free. Next time you get in power, any of you get in power, appoint the youngest, least qualified people you possibly can and make sure they are ideological hacks. Just, like, take random people from poll and just appoint them to the judiciary. If Canadians can be appointed Trump, appoint me to the judiciary. I promise if any election stuff comes across my desk, I will vote for it. I will have your back. So just take like random people off poll, random people from like North Dakota, Montana. Just take like some random person off the street from Ohio who has a MAGA hat and is wearing a crucifix and make them a federal judge. If you can appoint them to any position that has any kind of tenure, just do that. Fuck any concept of like trying to, we're going to pick distinguished legal scholars. Just get hacks. Get the most easy, like the most just toady people will just vote along ideological lines who can. Because we're so far past trying to have a real judicial system. It's just nonsense. Like, just don't Trump. Just don't Republicans. Just, you should have put me on the Supreme Court. I would have heard that election case. I would have voted to protect your tax returns. And I'm joking, but I almost am not joking. Like, appoint someone of the absolute minimum age you can appoint them. Make sure that you can get through and just force it through. This is what the left does, and look what the results they're able to get. They're able to charge Trump for bullshit. They're able to keep bringing up the Stormy Daniels thing. Like, really? They can't find some Republican judges in Arkansas to bring up all the various, like, rape accusations Clinton has had over the years? They can't bring that up. They can't get some, like, Republican justices to indict Hillary for possibly ordering people's being whacked. They can't find any Republican judges to indict, dude, just get some, like, fucking incel loser off a poll who has no family and no friends and nothing, and just say, look, if I appoint you to this, like, $120,000 position a year, will you indict Hunter Biden for being a piece of shit? And you get him to say yes, and then you appoint that dude. And then you get him to indict Hunter Biden, you do discovery, you do every single dirty, corrupt, like, shitty thing you can. Because we are so far past having a fair and just society. Keep in mind, once again, Bush invaded Iraq. Bush destroyed Iraq. Like, hundreds of thousands of deaths. Or we don't even know how many people died in Iraq. He destabilized the Middle East. Obama gave weapons to people who turned out to be ISIS. That caused complete disaster. Like tens of thousands of Christians massacred. You had ISIS pop up all over the world. You had the Libya disaster. You had the refugee crisis. You've had so much insane shit going down. And we're supposed to get pissed off that Trump had some, like, was reading some nuclear documents while he was taking a shit. Like, what? And this is the planet we live on. Like, Trump, do it. Make me a judge. If you make me a judge, I will, like, you just tell me what you want me to put on that indictment of Biden, and I will sign it tomorrow. Just send me something, I'll sign it. You want to, like, indict Nancy Pelosi on something? You want to, like, me to file jaywalk proceedings against Chuck Schumer? I'll do it. Just get somebody, like, who you know is going to do this shit and just put them in power. I get that you have to get some of these people past the Senate, but there's ways to get around that. You can do recess appointments. You can do all kinds of sleazy shit to get around it. Democrats are able to appoint Sotomayor. Like, you can come up with something. I believe in you, Trump. Just appoint these, and not just the judiciary, just, like, any government position, just appoint some random dude from North Dakota. Just find some random guy, like, just literally go through the street, find a guy with a MAGA hat who's coming out of, like, an evangelical church on Sunday, and be like, look, sir, we want you to head the Department of the Interior. We want you to head the FBI. And I almost guarantee you will have a better outcome with that guy than any of these fucking F-slurs that, like, they put in power on the basis of being like, we're so far past this. If this was like a dictatorship, if this was a one party, if we were Singapore, then yeah, hire for talent, try to get competent people to run these positions. But, like, what is the result of trying to hire competent people being? It's a clusterfuck. The U.S. is in unpayable debt, that the legal system's a disaster, you have criminals running all over the place. So maybe it's time to stop that, and maybe it's time to try just playing third world politics. Just like I said, just even take money from people. Like, if maybe some people on poll want to, like, crowdfund, like, some judicial appointments, take money for that. And the best part of it is, if you install all of your guys in the judicial system, if they try to come after you for it, you can get those same people to say you did nothing wrong. You can get the courts to overturn it. You can get the courts to issue indictments so senators can't come and vote on your impeachment. Do it, Trump. I'm fucking begging you, do it. This is what needs to be done. Like, they're doing it, and it's bullshit. Like, also, even if Trump did this, even if this is 100% true, like, who gives a fuck? I think the head of state has the right to do what he wants, largely with the classified documents. I don't think there's really anybody above him who can judge him. And in a democratic society, I do think that de facto politicians are above the law, because all of these people commit so many crimes on a daily basis that it really just comes down to, like, purely partisan reasons for who gets prosecuted. And this is once again the thing with the whole, like, election integrity, ethics in video game journalism. Like, once again, this is what this whole thing comes down to. It's like, they aren't going to rule on it. You could have footage of someone, like, making, like, tens of millions of Biden, like, just sitting there all day, checking them off and putting them in. It doesn't matter. You could, like, they don't care. It's viewed as a political issue. So what you have to do is, just anybody with any ability to influence election rules, you just appoint someone from poll, appoint Red Eagle politics, appoint real American politics, and get him to run an election system. I don't know, sign executive orders requiring, I don't know, the polls in Atlanta to, like, cut the funding. I don't know, selectively cut the funding so they can't have ballot paper. Like, just do it. We're already in third world conditions at this moment. We might as well like use the third worldism in a way that might actually benefit the average person. So that's my thoughts on the matter. I think Trump is gonna. I think he's gonna pull through. We'll see how this goes, though. I really I don't know.